Hello, I'm Jason Breach and welcome to today's Woodworking Wisdom. So we're back in the prep room. So today going to look at a bit of a home DIY project. Most of you, if you think about it, if you're watching this, are probably quite practical orientated. I love doing stuff at home. The project we're going to look at now is something really I can't go and buy. So if I want it, I've got to make it. So we're going to go through those kind of steps. So what is this little home DIY project that involves making basically a little stand to go down the side of my toilet. Store the toilet rolls in, the bleach bottles, all those little things just so it looks tidier. Long term, this is the first part. I've got to do a bath panel and a little vanity unit for the sink. So this is first stage. So in reality, I'm taking my bathroom apart, redesigning it, putting it back together. Okay, so first little bit, quite easy to do. So we're going to do this little stand to fit down the side of the toilet. So I think we'll get you in, give you a bit of a closer look at what I've been doing. So before I came here, I used to make bespoke kitchens, a little bit of joinery work. So in reality, it should be quite simple. It's amazing. You can start off with a rough sketch, a little bit of paper, take some measurements, start working from there. Now weirdly, when I came out of college, I had a full-size AO drawing board. When I would keep beforehand, we'd do rough sketches, never planned. Now with something like this, I won't say it's complicated, but I need to make sure it will fit. We've got a right angle wall, we've got skirting stuff in the way, got to look at all those little details. So one of the things I love to try and do, give me all those little details to scale, is draw it out. So let's get you in. So from my initial little sketch, I've got size of the skirting, overall height. At the moment, the floor kind of been vandalised. Right? It's got some plywood down, some tiles on top, but this is next to the toilet. We haven't taken that out, so the tiles are still there. I've got to accommodate that when we're done. So I've taken those rough measurements. I've got an idea of how far out we can come. I put it onto, if you like, my hard copy. I've drawn it out. So, right, so we're taking from there. We can go something where I can draw it out full size. So bit of 6mm or 4mm hardboard MDF is ideal for this. Okay, you can use it time and time again. It gives me things like height of the skirting I can draw in, where the cover strip's got to go. I can play around on the back bit here. I've got an angle. So one of the things I looked at was, do I want it a rectangular shape, or do I want that taper across the front? That gives me more storage in this corner. This is the width next to the toilet. So all those little things I'm starting to look at before I even cut a piece of wood up. So that's relevant. Something like the bit of cardboard was really good last night. I could go home and go, well, actually, where does that fit in? That's not bad. If we bring it to there, can I still fit it? Does it look better? I prefer this. This is more work though, because we've got to incorporate that taper into the shape. So just simple things like that could be interesting. Also, by drawing it out, you've got something to work off and you can check things over easier than a rough sketch on a bit of paper. With it being full size, again, quite easy to do. Obviously, there are limitations on how big, yes, you can go full size. I used to do lots of scale drawings, but for this, it was just nice to sit down and draw it out. So from there, we need to start looking at the materials. We've got something we can work off. So what we're going to have. Alright, so we've got a pile of materials now. What have we got? We've got some sweet chestnut. Poor man's okay is to know this is okay. So that'll look quite nice. I'm going to do the rest of the bath in a minute. I've got, move that out of the way, piece of high density MDF that's already been painted for a project that we did before. I kind of thought we can use that. Okay, so the underside will be the paint, the green will be the top. I wanted something different on the shelf than just a wood shelf. Wood shelf, if you get it damp off the bleach bottles or anything else, it's going to mark no matter what polish I try and put on there to seal it. The last house I did a bathroom, I used some of the tiles off the floor. That looked quite nice. We haven't got a floor yet, so I wanted a contrast. So how about some slate? So I can use the slate, we can cut it to the shape, fit it in, that'll go drop into the top of the shelf if you like. So there'll be a lip on the front and that's going to drop in, be held in place. So it'll give us a nice contrast of that. The slate I can also oil, sort of bring, if you like, the colour and the texture out a bit more. So that gives you an idea of what we're using for materials. So we're going to start planing. So this stretch, we need to open the tin. Want to machine the wood up. So we're going to use a little bit of resin cleaner, and hopefully I've got some blue paper towel here. Just going to clean that off. So that'll clean anything off the surface. I like to do this before I'm doing a big task, make sure everything's going to glide nicely. First part. We're going to wax it. Again, this will help things move. So we're going to use some machine wax. This will stop the table tarnishing and anything else. It will stop the moisture getting in. But most important for me, it will help things move across the table, so I need less effort to push it. We're going to start our machining, so need to get prepped for that. Change the glasses. Need the square. We've got one more thing to check. Let's get our safety glasses on. So we've got our first piece of timber, we've waxed the bed. Next thing really is just going to check this fence is nice and square. If I want things to meet up nicely and accurately, that's such an important part. So easy to do now, more frustrating later. Oh, right. So that's the wood machining bit done. So the last three bits, they're the back. They're going to have something maybe decked on the edge. I've got to decide. This is the right hand side. Now this goes up against, and it's got to be off the wall by 18mm to allow for the skirting. So the sideboard will be here. The filler bit to go down the side, which is 18, is there, which can't be fixed on because we've got to scribe it to the skirting and then we can fix it on. What I've actually done is rip it up in the same plane of where the wood was, so the grain all continues. So actually when it's lifted up and folded over and screwed on the outside when it goes in and clamped together, everything, you won't see that dune. Should look quite nice like that. Trying to think about just little things like that can make a difference, and nice to do if you're doing it yourself. Okay, quick recap. I need to go through now and figure out next little stage. Right, so we're going to cut the side materials to length. I've set up a lump chop with the chop saw. I've got both bits of wood for each side. So what does that mean? I've got the little thin batten on the back. That's going to be that reversal strip to clear the skirting. I've got my main board. I put the two together. I want to try and line the grain up as much as I can, so I'm trying to keep this flush when I cut it. So we'll be up there. Through. That maintains that both bits, the grain aligns. Get it the right way. That way. The grain will line up and we're the same length. So I do exactly the same for the other one. So now I'm looking at the shelf material. So we've got a bottom shelf, I've got one halfway up, got a top bit to do as well, so I need to look at that. So on here, how are we going to do and what we're going to do? I want two the same. I want the white up on the bottom and the white down on the shelf halfway up. Right, just the slate's going to drop in. This way had a better cover if we lift it out. So I've just really, it's pre-painted, why not use it? So now I've got to mark them out, get the angle. So I've cut them to width. Best thing I can now do to make sure they stay together and to get them the same shape, cut them at the same time. So I'm going to fold that over, get there. Let's just double check we're cutting the right way. We are. Cut once, check 20,000 times. So we then want a little bit double-sided tape. We can cut both of them then together. One on there. That one there now. Now the tricky bit. Let's get them together. Get them lined up all the way round. The back edge, we're good, that's good there. Okay. Another thing we can do by having a full-size drawing, I can take the sliding bevel, I want to set the angle up that I want across here. You're just working off a bit of paper with a rough sketch. You've got no way of transmitting that. I need to move my bevel up a little bit because you want to take this to the saw. Bring that down a little bit there. Again, we can double check things, make sure we're right there. You come back to that line, that's better. Tighten it up. Again, quick double check. That's good. So we've set up our bevel. We've got our angle. I've got the material for the shelves. I've also got to think about the front lipping that goes on. So this is going to be stuck on the front of these when we're done. That's got to go on there. So we need that width. So I've marked that on, how wide that batten is. We can then measure this. I've got a line to come back to. I can work right into that corner. So I've got 110, 111. So let's bring that in. Let's mark that on. That one there. We can double check it the other side. Now I've got to make sure I get the right bit of board here because we've got the 18mm filler in behind. So we're actually that bit. Back to where our back is going to be, 180. Now hopefully if we take our bevel and we come across, extend it with our roll, we'll see what we get. Tiny bit. Bring that up to there. Next thing I want to do, I get a little bit fussy. I can double check things. That's good there. This side over to there. Okay, that's suggesting we're a little bit short. So let's redo it. Bring it up. I'm going to cheat with that. I'll go to there, which is where my line was. And this is all about that double, being able to double check something. Checking our angle again a tiny bit. That's better. Go with that, lock it off. Again, I can turn the board, I can bring it over to where my line needs to come into that corner. Check where we are. Check I'm in the right position, need to come forward. So I'm off of there, got to come up. That's good. One there, one the other side. So again, by doing something as a full-size drawing, I've got a good way of just quickly double checking it. Having done the test cut, I'm using the Axminster. I've marked out where we want to be, our measurement. We've lined it up. So from there, we've got both bits together. We're checking they're pinched up. We've got that tight. That's what we want. So we've got a bit of MDF. We cut it. We can lay it in here. We can see where it fits. So that'll go over. That's good. We've also got the top one, so we have undershelf, base one, top one, and then we have a top. So on here, we can use the same system, put that in. This is the lipping we're going to use on the front of the MDF. So at this stage, I'm going to cheat. Look, how about we just lay it in there, line things up, draw your line. We can cut it off. So I'm going to do exactly the same cut as we've just done with the mitre saw. Repeat on the piece of wood. So we've cut the bits on the mitre saw. So we've done 2 top bits. So we've got the top underneath bit, the bit of MDF, the base one. I've also, with the saw cut or set, cut all the rails as well for the lipping. So this one is going on the bottom. That'll be biscuited on in a minute. So that's going to join together on the front. We've also got to set it down a set amount so the tile drops in. So that's one. We've also done the lipping for the front of here, so that will sit on. And again, that's got to be positioned so it's flush. Then we can start looking at building the carcass. So whilst that saw is set to those angles, it's quite important to try and do all those little cuts. So like I said, we've even done the top, got that there, the bit going on the top as well. So now we're getting to that stage where it's starting to hopefully look more like a carcass. This side's going to look a bit odd because actually it's got to drop down a little bit. There's a recess for the back to go in, so we've got that still to cut. The bottom rail obviously fit flush. All those little things will come together in a minute. Having cut the bits to go on the front, so we've got the moulded bit, if you like, that's going to go on the front there, they've got to be fixed together. That sounds simple, but they've also got to be set down the thickness of the slate. Takes a little bit of thinking about it. So all I've done is machine up a piece of pine to match the thickness. Could be anything. So we've machined it so it matches that thickness. That gives me an offset bearer. Okay, so when we do the ones on the MDF, they're going to be set down. That'll work nicely. So especially on this one here, that's going to go on. So what do I want to do to start with? We're going to do 2 biscuits in this. We're also going to do a biscuit down the edge in a minute, but the front ones with that moulded edge or that front cover bit more problematic. So let's have a quick measure. We're going to come in 60 millimeters. There. Same on here. Quite hard pencil there. Let's go softer one. That's better. Then we can also transfer that. Now I've got to check which way it's that way round. This is a bit more tricky because actually I want to be flush, just so I can see my line and line it up. There and there. That gives me my marks. So then we can cut those. So we're going to turn it round. This one we can put probably in the vise. Turn it up, make sure you've got it held in something. That's done. So biscuiter I've set up for the middle of where the cut needs to be. So again, I've already looked at that on how far down I want to be. Find the centre of my board. This is 10 mil. The slate is 7, so we've got 17 overall, but we will therefore 10 minus the thickness of the biscuit, 4, so you've got 3 either side, so I've got 3 mil before, so I've worked out that offset, and I've set that up on the fence here. So with this, I can go to there, check my line, I can see it, side tick, get it level. I need to do one first, so let's bring that right round to there. This is just really holding it. Bring that up. Trying to get it roughly parallel, give me more support. I'm going to have to move it about when we get to this end. Let's check we can get on there because I've got to line up the centre point with our pencil line. We're a little bit over, I thought we might be. I did kind of say that. Alright, so let's have that there, that to there. That's better. Now I can look down through, there's the little gap, I've got the pine set back onto there. Let's turn the extractor on. We've got our slot. So we've done one. So reset for the second, so we've got our line. We can drop on top, checking the clamps not interfering or lifting anything. So hopefully they fit on here. We can wiggle that about. This should hopefully be pretty flush. So our thickness of our pencil, let's get a pencil we can, so the thickness of our slate, that gives us our offset. So that's good, that will be able to glue together. We've got the other biscuits to do on the side first, but that's one done. Going to repeat exactly the same for the other. Right, that looks good. I've done those. Matt, can you pass us some of those biscuits? They're beautiful, but not quite what we need for this as a project. I'm sorry. All right. Can we have the wooden ones that go in? I mean, these are high fibre, but nothing like the wooden ones. I wonder what's going to work better. Oh, they should go in there. This one fit on a bit too long there, look. That goes down there. Push it on. Move it about a little bit. A little bit of an overhang underneath, which is great. Let's just slide our biscuit jointer along a minute. Let's get our slate that we've still got to cut and everything. That gives us something now that's, I don't know, millimetre, if that, which is beautiful. Just that tiny little bit. We've got a little bit to clean up, so that's great. So we've got those fixed on, we know they've got to be glued, but we've got the right position, that's great. I'll move the biscuits. Alright, so we're now starting to look at, on the left hand side, as I've done with the drawing, I've got to do a rebate in the back. Take the back bit, that'll fit in, so we're going to cut this slot out. There's the bit that we've machined that then screws on the back to clear the skirting. So I want to rebate this into here. So we're going to use router table. So thinking about which way round I want to do this. What's going to be easiest? I've got a rebate style cutter, bearing guide if you haven't got to use the bearing. So we've got to set this up. Now first thing we can do, let's move our board back to there just for a second. I'm going to lower the cutter height. Let's see where we are. Let's bring it down. Got height adjustment on the router. Dropping it down. Checking where we are. Fingertips. I'm trying to get the top of the cutter level with that board. So a little bit to go. Just over. Little bit. Little bit. That's not bad. Pencil now is a really good way of feeling what's going on. Still a step. There it's gone. Just going to bring it up that tiny bit. I can lock my height. That's done. So we set the cutter height to match the width of that board. Now we're going to set the fence. First thing I've got to do on here, got to open things up a bit. We're going to bring this over. Bring these back in a little bit now. Lock them off. Turn the cutter around by hand, make sure that nothing's going to catch. Got a lot more setting up still to do. The moment, too much cut. That's too deep. I can see that easily. I'm going to do this though. Bring that right up to there. I'm now going to sight down the fence line, and this will shock maybe a few of you. I'm now set for my first cut. So we're going to plug the router in. Make sure we get the right part of the board. It's there. Got one other thing I want to set up. So we got our height, got that. I want a horizontal feather board. This allows me to keep pressure in line with where we're cutting. Check things are tightened on there. Check what's going to happen. Oh, a little bit more pressure on that end. Now I've got this in line with where the cutter is, so it's keeping the pressure and bridging over that fence position. So not pushing it into the drop-in area. I'll do our cut. That's great. I've got glasses on. Earmuffs, we got those. Just going to do the extractor. Okay, so what have we done? Let's have a look. We can have a real quick check. We've got a lot more depth to go at the moment. We're just past our thickness by nothing. It's thin, right? But all we've taken out is that little corner at the moment. Hoping you can see that. Let's see if we can get you in and I'll hold it still. Tiny little bit. But surely we could do more cut than that. Yeah, we could. But at the moment, I've now got a lovely clean shoulder line down through here. No breakout, no tear out, no chipping of the edge where the grain reverses. If we do it in one heavy go, you'll chip the top fibres. When you put the back in, just see it. So doing that thing of making maybe a couple of passes will give you a better result. So now I can move my fence back. Let's do one there, go come down here as well. We'll take a bit off of here. Let's have a quick look down our board. And maybe a little bit more after this as well. Let's lock off featherboard just to adjust again. So if I was doing a batch of these, I'd have to do them all first pass, then reset to this stage. So back on. And that'll do. Okay, so our board is going to be upside down from where you guys are kind of looking at it, but the back is going in there. That's enough. Just enough to overlap it. I can fix it in, pin gun, or even a screw in there. That's enough. That's fantastic. So we've got to go back to the bench. We've got to use the router table again in a second. So at this stage we've done our bottom, middle shelf, top one we know is one piece of wood. I've just laid them on the sides. I've got both sides laid together, level with the bottom. I now want to mark the position of where I need to do the other biscuits. We've only got 10mm for the MDF, so I'm just looking at where things are. Just trying to make sure now. I'm just going to slide this board over. I want to make sure this is square. This is the only side I can get to. So I've got to bring them up a bit. That's better. So little checks like that are so important. I've already done that with the bottom one. I've got a position. So in here I can mark in where, oh, carefully. Let's wiggle that back. I've got a line now I can put there. That one there, okay. Top one's really easy. That's level. We can work on the outside edge for that. That one's done. That there. That one there. So at this stage, if I mark this one up, I can then transfer it to the other. I'll also make sure you guys can see. So we're trying to lay out where the position of those internal shelf bits is. So I've got a square. I'm going to extend those lines. Bring them along. One there. Going to work on the top there. This one we've got to work there. There, can transfer that over again. I can probably even, from where I am, hopefully get to there. I'll lay something out on this. So we can mark those up. Then we're going to cut our biscuit slots. Now I know on the top one we can work right for here, off this top edge. So that's not a problem. These I'm going to have to lay a batten in. So the best thing I can do at that point, I will fix it down on the bench, put in a batten across, and we can work in one line and make sure it's all nice and square. So I'll get it set up, we'll get you back in. So we fixed both the boards down. So these are the side boards. I've got the front face, the back edge. So I know they're all actually, if you like, book matched to make up the shape. I've laid on 2 guide rail bars, clamped them on. On here I've got the position of where my biscuits have got to be. So this should give me something I can work up against, and then I've also worked out the offset between the base of the biscuit jointer to where the cutter's got to be for the middle of the shaft. Takes a little bit of thinking about, but not impossible. So this means we can work from here, cut a hole, and then on the shelves we'll be able to work off the top and cut the slots. So hopefully they're all laid out. Let's get things plugged in and get it going. So we've got our board, we've got them face up so we can see our biscuit marks. We've set up the fence again on the top. I can look through, I've got the spacer button like we used before to give me the offset as well. So we can go from there. Let's have a bit of air. Right. I think it's the top now. That's the top on that one. That way over. Okay, so let's have a quick play. Put them in there. That's the front. We don't need 2. We've got that in the right place. That's good there. Come forward just a little bit. Those 2 up in there. So I'll just dry run at this stage. Remember, we've still got to do the ones on the top. I'm just checking which way round we are. It can only really be that way. Go there. We do that one as well. See where we are. And there, that will slide back a bit. So at this stage, hopefully, let's have a quick get to there, put that one back on. Starting to get somewhere. We've got to do a tail bit, we've got to do the one in the top. Now pulling it all apart. One there. And we can probably have 2 in here. Right, quick reset. Then we'll do they fit tight. Just trying to come back to me just a little bit, that's good. What we want? Halfway shelf. It's in there. Bring it forward just a little bit, that's better. Slide up a little bit there, we can have that one. Check where that is, just on the back, that's not bad. Biscuit in there, one in there. Let's start with the top, middle one. So at this stage, just to help hold it together, we can put a clamp just in there. Be better off coming off the back. That won't all need, bring it back in. Back squarer so it'll hold it together better. I know the bottom rail will push out a little bit with the taper. At the moment, we're just this edge I've got to bring forward. We can move that more, tighten up, it's sliding out a little bit. That'll be good when we come to glue it up. So at the moment we're up to there. Next stage we're going to make up the back, get that glued together, and we'll glue these onto the rails so then we haven't got to fight everything. So quick tidy up and then we'll get those done. Right, so all you've seen me do is just put them through the router. We've taken very small chamfer cut in between each board just to create almost a small groove, like you've got a tongue and groove effect. So then from there, all I'm going to do is clamp these three together, glue them up. Alright, so back in, had to rest it for a couple of days, a couple of things on. So at the moment we have majority of our carcass, so I've got the top shelf if you like, got the two other bits. So clean those up, kind of getting them ready to glue up, but I had a few other things we had to glue up as well. So let's just move this. Put our filler strip there, let's put the top over on the router table. So we have the back and the top and bottom. Let's get in a bit nearer because I want to explain how we've glued those up. So we'll get you in. For our back, we did those little V cuts with the router table. We glued it together. Now this is only 10mm thick. I know if I glue it with sash clamps, I've got to keep them flat. Don't want too much weight, don't want to distort it. One of the nice things I've started using is things like the path system where I can put it on the bench. I've got the stop on the back, the three boards where I glue. We've got our wedges in between, so I'll tap these out. They provide enough pressure going back, but also stops it cupping. It's quite amazing that something pushing sideways directly on something in behind stops it cupping, unlike a clamp. Other things I did on here, made sure that I put some sellotape on the bench, so if anything's in behind it, not going to stick to the bench. That's good. So they're nicely together. Got to clean up the back of those in a minute. We'll cut them to length. So one bit done. Up a little bit. This is the tops and bottoms. Now let's just strip stuff out of the way. So this we've gone with a couple of normal sash clamps. So they're down. Now the problem with the sash clamps, with the angle of where we've had to glue those together, and I've glued both together at the same time, that they slide. It's amazing. You do a dry run, you think it'll be fine. You add glue, you've added something that's slippery, starts to push it apart. Doesn't hold it nicely. So by using the clamp across the top here, that secures everything from sliding. It also maintains that everything is level on the ends, so they fit nicely. So these were biscuited on. So they're nice and clean up on there. That's great. Same on that one. So quite easy to do. So let's move those out of the way. So let's see if our carcass fits together a little bit. Got a little bit of cleaning up to do just on these front faces. Got a little line on there. So quick flip round. Let's grab those. So put our biscuits into our slots. One on there. One on there. Just checking what we have. Again, this is dry run. A little bit of wiggle on that biscuit there. So let's have a look at, not quite in the right location. Better. One there. This one. One. And that one there. This has got to go that way. Got one in the bottom already. That's good. Got to put this on. Carefully down for there. 1, 2. Bottom one's the one that's misaligning. That should go back just a touch. That one can come forward. And again, this stage we're doing dry run just to see how things meet up. That's better. Getting ready so we can glue this up in a second. We're to there. Bottom one needs to come forward just a little bit. Let's flip him round. I just want to get this clamp now. We're just going to bring that into play, really just to hold it. I can come forward a little bit there. Checking where the back is. That's good, that there. This one's got to come forward, which I can pull in a minute. There it is. Pull that up. Check how things are. Now that's given me the size of the back now. So I'm just going to grab our ruler. Get the glasses. We want this here. Now I've got to go back over, so we've got our rebate on here we cut. We have got 275 in a width, so I'm measuring from the edge to this side. So the back's got to go in. We then also have the cover strip that will be added later and screwed on. So when that goes over the skirting, the corner is in here with the tiles. Likewise, I've got the other cover strip that goes down the side on the other edge. So I've got those. So at this stage, really looking at, we can cut that back, get it ready to go in. So we have got 275. I don't need to come all the way to the floor. If the back goes all the way to the floor and I've got to level it, I've only got to level the two sides. So my back can actually come from the underside of that shelf to the top. I've got about 500 mil, 495. So we've got our two measurements. So at that point, we can cut this. We're going to cut it to width, we cut it to length. So I'm going to cross cut it, mitre saw, and just rip it down. That'll be nice and quick. I'll be back in a sec. So we cut that back to size, ready to go. So we've got clamped up here. Just want to see where that goes. That fits into our rebate. That'll pull in, that'll be good. We have the cover strip to come down this side. So I think at this stage, next thing I've really got to do, glue the carcass up. So I'll get it all glued up, then we'll get it back in and have a look. So we're glued up, just the last few little bits there, just playing around, pulling this. This has got a little bit of cup on the top. Some quite light duty clamps. This one we've added extra batten coming off the side, helps me get more pressure coming on this front face to pull it in squarely. With us having that angle, just enough depth for the deeper clamps. Alright, so that's quite an important part. If I actually put the clamp on as we have parallel and leant against the shelf angle, it's going to cause more problems, distort it more, damage the board a bit more. So that's quite an important part, that I've got something deep enough to clear the offset angle here. Alright, so I'm going to leave it to dry. The next thing will be to fit the back. We can look at the top, which will bolt on later when it's installed. So just got to let the glue go off now. Right, so we've taken it out of clamps. Looks pretty good, we've got it together. I fitted the side rail, just really I'm scared of moving it about and dropping it about on the floor. So 3 screws just to temporarily fix it. This is going to be cut, so the skirting I have at home comes right up to here. So I've got to cut that shape bit out later. The side of the carcass here will fit up against the skirting, so that's the reason I've really fitted that. And it also protects that edge at the moment. I've got the other one to go on the back, which isn't as same, but we've got to fit the back first. So that's really why we're here. So now the unit's obviously glued together. Quite nice, we can fit the back. Now I'm getting paranoid. Let's have a cloth. Okay, put things down on there. What we got? We've got the base that end, top this end. We could go it that way. The back, as we said the other day, we glued up. We've cut to length. That's all ready. I've then been round it and drilled the holes. So I've used pillar drill, marked them out. I've got the position for the shelf mark, so that will drop on. It doesn't go all the way to the floor, so therefore if the feet sit, that's not going to interfere and make it unlevel. So less to trim if I've got to scribe it anywhere again. So all these little things, little details make a bit of difference. You can make things easier later when you install something like this. Quite a small unit, but can make a difference. So next thing, really just going to fit that back. So I think we get you in, you can have a look. Clamp we've got on the side here I've used to pull the back level with the top. So I know this corner is nice and square, double checked it, we cut it, could put a shooting board on it, but with that being square I can measure off the top of the carcass. So actually I'm relying on the back, or using the back, to pull the carcass square. That's a real important tip as well. Little things like that can make a whole load of difference later, especially if you're fitting doors or something, or drawers. So hopefully, let's bring it up round. Move our cloth back a little bit. Now we're looking quite good. That's in. Next little stage we can do, add some oil. Get a bit of finish on it. That'll help protect it, stop it getting grubby and marked. One other little task we can do. We've got our top. On here, just want to chamfer the edges. So back to the router table we can do that. So on the top, I know I've cut it to size, I've already looked and done things like that. I want to chamfer this front edge just to give it a little bit of non-sharpness, take that sharp edge off the corner. So router table we've still got set from when we did the backs. So we're going to take that, let's go down to here. Glasses, earmuffs. going to do some finishing, so we're going to use an oil finish. Right? That'll be quite durable in the bathroom. I can always add more, get more coats. Normally with a pry wheel brush, but certain other things I've done at home where I've kind of gone, actually, this might be easier. So some gloves, because the oil can get a little bit sticky. So I'm going to put the oil in. Alright, so that's in a little tub. Just going to drop that inside, that'll be easier. Bit of washing up sponge. New one, okay. And all I'm really going to do, the joy with this, we can do anywhere down through here, less runs. Alright, so I've come on the outside really, just it's easier for you guys to see. The first coat, this is really going to drink. Most of us would try and use a brush, and I find that it runs everywhere. So sponge can be a good way of going, quite cost effective. Now we've got to do inside as well. Let's take that out just for a second because I can turn this around so you guys can see probably a little bit more again. I can get right into the corner. That's great. Bring the colour and the grain out nicely. Got that V groove just to get a little bit, this could be a bit heavy, but we can catch that, that's good. Then we'll come down to this side. So, quick coat of oil, that's the first one. It will need 2 or 3, going to build it up a little bit. Next thing you've been watching, we've done all of it. Underside, inside, the back, both sides, even the top. I've undercoated oil, underside and the top face. The back of the back, quite important to do. So you're trying to balance that material, stop it moving, warping. So if I seal both sides, going to get a better finish long term. It's also going somewhere that's going to be, if you like, a weird room. We have hot, cold, moisture, all those things going in that bathroom. So that's going to affect it as well. So the more we can seal it up, the better it will survive. So next stage really, once it's all dry, I can rub it down, give it another coat. Not really going to see another coat, but we'll give it a couple of coats. Then we're pretty much there. That's pretty much it, okay? We've got our little unit, got it together. Obviously, yes, I've got to go fit it. I've got to scribe in around the skirtings. Need to get the floor sorted out a little bit. Going to cut the slate. So I've made my template. We can do that diamond disc angle grinder. That'll work quite nicely. So you've started from rough sketch. Draw something out maybe, okay? Make it easier. Give yourself something to work on. Then start building something. You can do those little DIY jobs, all right? That's what this one's really about. You can do those jobs yourself. Get them done. Got no excuses. Oh my God, now what an excuse is that? So, hopefully you've enjoyed this week's Woodworking Wisdom. We'll be back for more. We'll see you soon. Bye then.